grownfolksmusic.com.
I'm Brian Courtney Wilson. Welcome back to grownfolksmusic.com. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Well, first, congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
Still is number one on the Billboard Gospel Songs chart and Media
Yes,
Base.
ma'am.
Talk about that.
Just it feels great that the message seems to be resonating with people, uh, and that's the main thing. Beyond saying you got a number one, knowing that it's reaching so many people at one time, and I think it's a message that's on time. Just this invitation to stay focused, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what's going on around you, and there's so much going on. But I think we still have a charge to keep, and this song is about staying focused so you can finish your assignment, and trust that God is going to be the help you need to do it.
Well, the album still is being repackaged as a deluxe edition coming out in July, and you have two new songs. So I want to talk about how the two new songs came about and how the artists who you collaborated with, how you got to work with them. So the first is you are working with Hillary Scott. You have a song with her. She's lead singer of Lady A. Talk about how that collaboration came together.
Yeah, she got wind of the song um, and was moved. The song "Fear Is Not Welcome," I should say. She heard that song, uh, really resonated with her children. In fact, I remember her sending me a video of teaching it to her child, and she, when I talked to her, was moved, and felt like it was something that was worth saying and worth communicating into an audience. Uh, a wider audience, I guess, so to speak. She's a member of Lady A, and so she's got a large country following, and gospel doesn't necessarily cross into that world. And I think it was on her heart to be a bridge in that regard. And so I'm grateful that she reached out and has given us the opportunity to do so.
That's a good word, bridge. Around here, we like to use the phrase bridging the gap. And I hadn't thought about it as a bridge, but as you were just explaining that and how the collaboration came about, I guess it is a bridge. And I remember when we were first speaking about the album, you were saying that a well known Christian, contemporary Christian writer, music writer, had written that song. So, how does it feel to have it so it has come full circle and created or crossed a bridge,
I love it.
if you
I love it.
will.
I love it. And like I told you, this is the first time I've ever been able to work. Well, it's the first time I've worked in that space, that
Hmm.
CCM Christian, contemporary Christian space, for us to do it and to come up with something as resonant as that song is, especially again, given everything that everybody's dealing with. And in particular, how, there can be gaps in communication when fear plays a role. Whether
Hmm.
you are afraid of your ego getting bruised, you're afraid of losing your resources, you're afraid of uh, getting embarrassed. It can be tough sometimes to communicate in ways that bear the type of fruit of the Holy Spirit that we all say we believe in. So uh, to be able to sing this song with someone who, I wouldn't have been looking to do it, to be honest. But she thought enough to reach out and say, "Hey, man, can we work on it?" Means a lot to me. And when I say reach out, you know, we she got wind of the song, and we gave her. It was like we said, "Hey, man, if you want to do something, we can do it." You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so I don't know that she would have felt like, "Oh, that's something they'd be open to doing," unless we had kind of bumped heads and not bumped heads. That's not the right word. Come together and talked about making plans to do it.
So talk about the song with Lettucey. Is it a existing song or is it a whole new song that you're doing with Lettucey on this album, on
It's
the
a
deluxe?
cover. It's a cover of a song I have loved since I first heard it. It's called "Be Real Black" for me, and I've always wanted to do it. And was just looking for a space where I thought it made sense, and uh, this was it. And the thing I really want to say with the song is, I'm a product of not just church music and gospel music. I'm a product of black music. And uh, when I say that, there's so many varied ways you can describe black music. But one of the things I remember growing up with are the type of songs where we talked about devotion to one another. We talked about heartbreak. We talked about risking heartbreak. We talked about grieving loss. In fact, I heard a preacher said the other day that grief is the price you pay for love.
Mm.
And so uh, Be Real Black for me, having this opportunity to sing it with someone as prolific and richly soulful as Legacy is to me, uh, really speaks to, and I'm hoping this is what people feel, this being able to express love for one another with a reckless abandon and no apology. And hey, man, it is what it is. And I want you to be who you are. And you don't have to change at all for me because I see it. I see the look. I see the God in you. And I'm praying you see it in me. And I'm going to keep trying to bring it out of you. And I pray you keep trying to bring it out of me without apology or explanation. I just want you to be in front of me. And she got it. You know what I mean? And I can't wait till people hear it.
So, was it your idea to create a deluxe edition? Was it the label's idea to create the deluxe edition to give it a boost? How did the whole idea of re-releasing still as a deluxe edition
I
come
did.
about?
I wanted to add a few more songs to it because we recorded in a pandemic, and
Hmm.
so lo- logistically speaking, it was somewhat rushed. We still got to complete work, I think, just still by itself. But there were a couple more things I wanted to say. That Be Real Black for me was one of them. I wanted to speak to the need for us to really see the God in each other, um, and be unapologetic about loving it, and affirming it. And that's what I wanted to speak to with that song. And then when Hillary reached out about the Fear Is Not Welcome duet, and we moved forward with it, I thought it would just be a great addition to what we were doing as well. It's like, I don't know, adding another uh, texture to the record, so to speak. It just made sense for me.
Recently, India.Arie was on Instagram and she was talking about creatives sharing platforms with one another, and especially people who may have a lot more followers and just with one word or one suggestion could open up a whole new world for other artists and other creatives. So you were on Instagram one night and I didn't watch the whole thing, but at the beginning, you were playing a song by this group, and it was one of the most lush songs I'd
I
heard
know what you're talking about.
in a very, very long time. It may owe a little bit to DeBarge.
Absolutely does.
It
I know
owes
exactly
some
what you're talking about.
things to DeBarge, but when she was speaking of that and knowing that I was going to speak to you this afternoon, it just made me think about the sharing of the platforms and just you playing it in the background. And of course, the song had to be good, but just you playing it on your platform in the background. So, for people who didn't see it, there's a song called Jesus Loves Me,
That's right.
and the group is called Trilogy. Is that correct? And
That's
just
right.
your mentioning of that led me to it. So there is something to be said for just bridging the gap and sharing the platforms. But thank you for that. That's really what I'm trying to say. Thank you for shouting out that song because it's one of the most lush
It's
songs. It's
beautiful,
just
right?
it's a perfect record,
Can I
actually.
expound on that?
Yes.
Because I don't have any intention when I'm not trying to, put people on a platform. I just heard it in the
Right.
car, and it was one of the songs, like I heard it on Sirius, and it stopped me in my tracks. When I heard it, I was like, man, this is beautiful.
It's that
And
gorgeous.
that doesn't happen all the time for me. And, like you said, I remembered I loved the bars. I grew up loving the bars, right? So when I thought more about it, I was like, okay, I hear elements of the barge in it. And I started calling people I know in the industry. Turns out the person that was working on that song and working with them was one of our producers for Steel. It was Dana. I had no idea that Dana was working with this group. I was just blown away by the song. And uh, I just think, you know, if you could just keep it real about what's in your heart and keep it real about the fact that, hey man, I can, I just want to help. You know what I mean? And for me, helping was just, man, I want y'all to hear this because
Mm-hmm.
this is beautiful, and I want to see who else can feel it. Uh, you'll be amazed at how God connects the dots in those ways. Like you trying to help, and God is like, no, well, that guy was already in the camp. You just didn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you caught the song, and I'm glad it meant something to you that I played it because I'm not even, again, I wasn't trying to do anything but just play it and let people know about it. I don't expect anything to come of it. Am I saying that right? Like maybe I should
You
have
are, but
expected
it's just
something.
no, but it's just something as simple as that. I think, what India was saying was more like making it a movement, and I think that's a part of it as well. But just your playing it, just something that simple is just sharing your creative space. You didn't go on a campaign to say, okay, I'm
Nope.
going to lift all these people up on my platform, but just something that simple. And then the artistry is so good that it kind of spoke for itself. But you had to play it in the background first. But it's a captivating record. It's a gorgeous
It's
song.
good, right? It's beautiful, man.
It's just it's hard to have songs stop you like that. Where just sonically it's just so good. We have a lot of songs where the beat is good or whatever, but they're not really talking about anything, or we've got the substance, but bless their heart, it doesn't really sound that great. But that's a perfect
They
record.
caught it. And there's some
Mm-hmm.
young kids. This is their first record. They first jumping out here doing this thing. And they were overjoyed to have it shared. And so that makes it even more
Mm-hmm.
gratifying that man, we were so appreciative that you said something about it. It's like,
And
man,
that's the
cool.
bridging of the gap, the
That's the bridge.
generations. That's the bridge. What we have never asked you in all of our conversations with you, we've never asked you our trademark question. And our trademark question is, what is your definition of grown folks music?
Oh, that's my definition of grown folks music. It would have to be in some ways timeless. It would have to be rich. It would have to be worth revisiting. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, so when I said timeless in some ways, some songs just, they aren't, always going to sound like they're current, but it's still worth revisiting, you know? And that to me is grown folks music. Because sometimes you can hear things as a child and not really get it until you get grown. You know what I mean? And so then now you hear it, and you hear why. I'm so glad somebody said that because I've lived long enough to
Mm-hmm.
know that you can feel that, and I'm not the only one. You know what I mean? So that's grown folks music to me. And I probably could go on and on about it, but I'll stop there.
So I have a fan request, fan being me. Since you're doing since you're doing collabs, so correct me if I'm wrong. So you have worked throughout your career with Aaron Lindsay, right?
Yes.
That's correct. So, is it also correct that Aaron Lindsay had something to do with Juan and Lisa Winans' "It Belongs to Me"? Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
So, can
Yes.
you and Juan and Lisa Winans get in the same recording booth, please?
I would love to. In fact, now that you say it, I might even try to make a few phone calls and see, what they might be working on because I do believe there's a mutual respect there. Of course, they're the whiners though, and they come from in my opinion, a line of gospel and Christian music royalty. So uh, the collabs I've done have been like, we mutually wanted to be in the room together and do it. So I can't speak for them, but I could see it. In fact, that you said it kind of resonates with me. And that song that you mentioned, oh my goodness,
That's a
that
perfect
song,
record too. That's an instant classic. It's an instant anthem. The first play, you want to hear it again
first play,
and again. It is
first play.
it's an instant anthem. That was my first impression of it.
And
Some
like I said,
songs have to grow on you, but that not that one.
I again when I heard it, I didn't know Aaron had worked on it, and so I just kind of did a little research, and then when I heard that Aaron had his hand on it, I was like, okay, that makes sense because that's it. The vibe was there before I knew who got credit for the vibe, but it just makes sense. And I was again, I don't know if you like me, Kim. I just when I hear great music like that, that I know is gonna stand, and I know that people need to not just hear the message, but to feel what it evokes. It makes me happy. It just makes me feel good. And so I'm grateful. Anytime I hear, I'm gonna give you another one. There's this song William McDowell put out called "I Don't Want to Leave." You ever heard that song?
No, I have not heard that song.
Oh my goodness. So that's another one that Aaron touched. But I don't want to leave. Man, please listen to this song. If you're into worship music at all in any way, that's a grown people song right there to me, you know. But that's one man's opinion. I feel it every time I hear it.
I want to ask you about really quickly about the EP that you not an EP, a playlist, forgive me, that you put together like a thematic playlist around the premise of peace.
Mm,
So I had some songs I would have added, but I guess you only were you like relegated to five. How did you
yeah, it was
choose?
fire.
How did you choose that five? Because I was like, well, where is already here? And I had some other, where's closer? I had some other ones, or is closer on there? I can't remember. How did you get down to five
Remind
that
me
you felt would
what
touch the
all was on the
people?
list because I remind me about the list.
You
I
know
know
what?
my
I
witnesses
do
heaven
not
is on
yet.
there.
Well, I think Our Father is Kind is on there.
That's on there. My
Uh,
witnesses in heaven is
I
on there because I
think
was listening to it the other day.
I think Still is on there. I don't remember. You got me going now to seeing what you put on there.
I'm
But
gonna
I
find it
remember
too.
saying, where is the, okay, I've got it. Our Father is kind. Nothing occurs to God.
Yeah,
My witness
yeah.
is in heaven. Fear is not welcome. And I'm like, where's closer? Where's already here? But
Now,
that
I
would have
know
been my
closer
choice.
didn't make the. I know closer did because we did a few of those, and Peace was like one of the series we did. I think it was five, 4 or 5 of them EPs we did, and those songs all speak to kind of trusting God in the moment. You know, um, the one that sticks out to me on that list in particular is "My Witnesses in Heaven" because it's you're tempted sometimes to defend your perception and your ego in moments because people don't understand why you've decided to do what you're doing or people don't respect why you're doing what you're
Mhm.
doing and so they insult or attack or cause offense and you're tempted sometimes to answer and that song in particular is like man remember now you are putting a record in heaven and that's where you'll be justified. And you don't want to put that in jeopardy by trying to protect a record here. They're two different things. And so those songs to me are all about that, remembering where you really invested. And it's not in this temporal world, according to my faith, this is gonna pass away. And we're setting up storehouses for a world that we cannot see yet, but we know exists. And so that there's a peace in that if you believe it. There's a peace in it if you believe it. And I pray everybody listening not just believe it, but you get a glimpse of it too in your life in ways that overwhelm you.
Mm,
Overwhelm you.
mm.
So you don't forget when you're in the thick of it sometimes and you're tempted to surrender your peace in the moment. Just remember, man, God is present. God is enough, more than enough.
Mm.
And you have more than enough instruction to just keep going. Obey the Lord. Obey the Lord.
So now that we are starting to move about a bit, um, does Still have a tour? Any shows? Any appearances? especially since you are doing deluxe?
We're starting to put the dates together now. With There's no official tour planned yet, but we're starting to put, venues are opening back up and stuff like that. So we're starting to put together dates like that now. The next big date I have coming up is it's a Legends Gala that I'm participating in Nashville, and we're honoring Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, uh, Shaka Khan, the Fish Jubilee Singers. I'm forgetting a name. Just that quick, I forgot a name. But anyway, you could go to my Instagram and you can see more information on it. Just about honoring these legends here at the National Museum of African American Music that just opened up in Nashville. And so we're going to be gathering Juneteenth weekend to celebrate these legends. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm over the moon about this opportunity to come together. And again, I think even as I look at that lineup, uh, identify where the bridges are. Like I said, I'm not just a product of gospel music. I'm a product of Black music, and to be able to be a part of this Legends Gala, where Black music is going to be celebrated across genre, means a lot to me.
Do you know who you are paying tribute to in song? Are you paying tribute to one of the legends in song, or is that a surprise?
It's a surprise. It's
Okay.
a surprise. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
All right.
but y'all want to lock in. I think it's going to be worth seeing.
Okay.
We got people like Shalea going to be there, Avery Sunshine, Corey
Mm.
Henry will be there. I forget her name now, but she wrote the song "Rockin' Hard Place" for her. She's going to be participating, and many others. It's going to be worth seeing, and I'm grateful that we have an institution dedicated to preserving this music there, right in the heart of Nashville. I think it's a beautiful thing.
So this is the part of the conversation, as always, where you get to shout it out. And you mention your Instagram. You get to talk about your social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, website, and where we can pre-order Still Deluxe.
Absolutely. The website is briancourtneywilson.com. Follow us on Instagram at Brian Courtney Wilson. We're on Facebook at Brian Courtney Wilson. My Twitter is B Courtney Wilson. Join us on Thursday nights on my Facebook Live page too. We have a gathering we've been doing called Breathe Again. We love to see you 6 p.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday. And Kimberly, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this grown folks music culture that you're cultivating.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you always taking out time for us. And we have seen you rocking the merch. So we
Oh, I love it.
appreciate that. We really, really appreciate that. And just thank you for just always being so receptive and saying yes to us, because we don't get a lot of yeses. People think we come up here and we do this and we just kind of have a main line to people, and that's not so. So I just thank you for just always just throwing your support behind us and just always just saying yes to us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for sharing the music, sharing what we're doing, and keep me lifted. I'm going to do the same.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Be easy.
Bye.
grownfolksmusic.com